Good morning, everyone. My name is Artur, and I'm gonna show for you the CAM interface. So today we got the CAM interface webinar, and I'm gonna show it for you what we can do, what we're supposed to do to when we have finished design on the CAD, and what we're supposed to do to transfer the parts and the files to the CAM interface where the CNC programs will be created. Okay, so I just will share my screen. I have already opened that one, so I just go to the taskbar and just click on it. And this is a CAM interface software. That's how it looks like. And in here, we're gonna be able to open the files which we have from the path where we have saved. So the CAM interface are able to open the PL3 files. So I'm gonna show it for you also how to create that PL3 files from the beginning, from the CAD+T to the CAM interface, but I would like to kind of give you a quick overview of the CAM interface, how it looks like. So that's that. I will come back to it later. And obviously here we're gonna have a few different types of the machines. Obviously, as per your requirements, some of the people working on the Hallmark, some of the people working on the Felda, some of the people working on many other type of the CNC machines. So we are able to kind of to provide a post processor for that and customize as per the client's need, because all the clients are quite specific to each other and they kind of treating the parts a bit differently compared to the others. So per the information provided by the client, we will try to implement and to configure the post as much as close as possible to the client's requirements. So basically, each one of the CNC machines, we're gonna have all the entries and the outer contours. So all the entries will be for all the cutouts purposes. It can be for the outer contour, can be for the pockets, can be for the cutouts, can be for the notches, can be for the rabbits. Sorry, for the rebates. But it is how it is. So please forgive us and a little bit of error, but everything I think it's supposed to know rabbits is rebates, so that's it. And yes, so these kind of things, if we are gonna be able to decide how the kata supposed to enter into the material when the particular operation going to take a place. So that is a bit more, I'm treating that a little bit more for the kind of project managers to kind of to configure that and work on that. So this is not basic. This is a little bit of advanced configuration. So all the predefined settings, you already got that in here, as you can see. But we are able to change this configuration and see what will work the best. Okay, so all these kind of configurations are able to change. So that's that. Also, we've got some options for the out contour to kind of to change. We're gonna have the drillings also to change if necessary. All the settings are predefined, but sometimes we're gonna have to change that because, like I mentioned that before, if the information provided by the client needs to be changed, then obviously this is the area where we're supposed to change it. Obviously, the second area, the last area, will be to configure something in the post in here. But this one, it's like I said, this is will be the last kind of area where we would like to kind of change it. Obviously, it's some customization will need to take a place, but this is also is more advanced rather than for the beginners. But yeah, generally speaking, based on my experience, I'm always trying to touch this configuration customization. At the end, the first I'm trying to get to achieve the requirements by the changing the configurations from that instance. Okay, so that will be the first place where we are supposed to look at. So that's that. So yes, here in the export settings, we're gonna be able to predefine the path where the actual part files, sorry, going to be stored. Okay, so system automatically will generate the folder CAD+T/NC data, and here we're gonna be able to decide what sort of information we would like to attach into the file title. Here you've got the drop down menu, and here you've got other different kind of options. Obviously, again, it's everything. It depends what sort of CNC types do you have, because sometimes when you've got the sometimes when you, for example, when you're working on the pod on rail CNC machines, obviously some different informations would be more necessary rather than just to have, for example, in the nesting machine, it's quite useful to know about out of which material particular part is made of. So, but this is clearly just conversation between the customer and the project manager, and project manager will be able to configure that as per the customer requirements. So that's fine. But obviously, even if the user would like to change it, he can do so. He can also test it out. So that is that. But in here, I would like to also show it for you before I will kind of move on to the CAD+T and we run the program. So here, the mandatory thing is to create a tool database which you already got on the CNC machine. Obviously, some users got not very little amount of the cutters, but some of the users, they got very wide range of the cutters to choose. So for each one of this case, we are able to kind of find the solution and basically adjust them to optimize all these tools. So that is that. So it's very mandatory. It's the mandatory thing that we will create a tool database before we run the program. Because if we're not gonna create this tool database, obviously the system won't create any files, because it won't know what sort of tools has to be triggered to the, for example, for the pockets or for the cutouts. So that is that. So this data, it's supposed to correspond to the CNC machine. So as you can see, the post processor ID in here, we've got the kind of the tool ID which the CNC recognizing. So each one of the different type of the CNC machines, they got the different ID number, but this is clearly kind of we can configure that once the client will send us some example files, then we can kind of find the information. So this is regarding the routers, and obviously when you've got the source, also the source would be mandatory to create. So source and and the routers are in here. When it comes down to the drillings, we've got the drillings in here. So all the borings, drillings, whatsoever, however you want to call them, we are able to create in here. Some of the users using left and right, some of the users doesn't use the left and right, because as far as I know, all the drilling blocks, they always turns onto the right direction. So it doesn't really matter if you want to be such a specified and you want to describe this is a left turn or right turn, the CNC machine will definitely recognize which tool supposed to use. So that is that. And obviously this is all the information needed to be filled up. Okay, so again, is the diameter, usable tool length, and the maximum work step depth. So for example, if for example you've got the tool like this one, the 15 millimeter diameter, and you've got usable tool length, so the deepest depth, the deepest point is 48 millimeter. Obviously, some of the users might not to like it to drill that certain depth in one go. Maybe it will want to spread this, maybe let's say maximum will be 15 millimeters. So the system will generate automatically a few different holes with the different depth detail until the moment when it will reach the destination depth. Okay, so that is that. And again, so all the drill bits supposed to be created. If you've got some multiple drills, so let's say you've got 6 slots, and in these 6 slots you've got 5 millimeter drill bits, same type, same everything. Ideally, you can create only one drill, and there in the machine blocks, we're gonna be able to specify these drillings like in here, for example. So we're gonna be able to multiple select in each one of them, and the system will know about there is 6 drills. Okay, so that is that. Now, if I will go to the manufacturing group, in the manufacturing group, we are gonna be able to create, and again, everything comes down to the users of the CNC. So basically, they're going to specify how they're treating the material, how they dealing with the material in terms of the different types of it. So for example, maybe some users using a different tools for the plywood material, some users using the different tools for the veneered materials, some users using different tools for the MDF materials and acrylic and Korean and many other materials also. So based on this information provided by the user, we're going to be able to suggest what sort of manufacturing groups going to be created, and the system will start to create. For example, when it comes down to the out contour, here we're gonna create a logic. Which tool? Here you can create a list, and you can add these tools to the list. For example, that, and this is the order which tool is the first from the choices from the by the CAM interface logic to achieve the operation. If the system won't find that tool, and that tool is in the, I think it's changed that in here. So basically, Yeah, we're gonna be able to specify that if that machine is available or not. If you will have deselect that, then this won't be available to do. That's correct. That's correct. That's changed something. Now let me come back to the manufacturing group. Yeah, so this is an order of the tools which are in the, let's say they are in the queue and waiting for the action to be terminated. Because if the system if the CAM interface logic won't find that tool and it's not going to be available on the machine, then the CAM interface will automatically go and search for another tool from the list until the moment when it will find it. Or if not gonna find it, then definitely you will get an information that there is no tool for that, and the machine won't be able to proceed. Okay, so that is that. So when it comes down to the outcome tool, so here we've got the rough router, final router. So this is for the outcome tool. So everything what is around the material. This is for the cutouts. Again, you can decide if you want to have the final router and the rough router. For example, this one, I left that in purpose to not to see the rough route. So I will just show it for you what I'm going to do. So for the rough route, for example, I would like to use this one, that cutter. Maybe as a backup, I would like to use also that one. And maybe with the disalignment, maybe I want to go that the system's supposed to create a 1 millimeter offset line from the contour. Okay, so the system will automatically create, and it will automatically create the path with that tool information. So that is that. Here we've got the pockets. So the pockets also the same. It's the same scenario, same procedure. You can decide for the rough routing and for the final routing. Here you've got for the notches stroke grooves along the X, Y axis, free vertical groove. Likewise, you've got also a rebates in here. So here we are in each one of these options, we are going to be able to create all the logic, which tool is the favorite one to use for that particular operation. Okay. So that is that. When it comes down to the drilling, so sometimes when you're going to have, obviously the first choice by the system will be the drill bits, but sometimes you're going to have the special cases. For example, when you're going to have to drill a hole 17.2 millimeter or 8.4 millimeter, it's going to be really hard to find the drill bit with that particular diameter. Then you've got a possibility to apply the tool as a router cutter, and it will route the hole with that certain diameter provided on the drawing, and the system will generate a routing instead of drillings. Okay, so this is about the straight works, which is related to the 3-axis and the 4-axis, and inclined workings, this is more involved into the 5-axis, but it's the same procedure. Okay, so that is that. Now, obviously in the configuration, so this here we're going to have some addition groups to apply, but the addition groups to apply, this is at the beginning of the kind of the creating the configuration for the user, for the client. Means all the project managers from the CAD+T will focus on that and will take care of it to kind of to at least start, and maybe during the testing, maybe we're gonna change accordingly as per the clients we require. But this is more or less is for the project managers with the coordination with the CNC users. So that's that. What else I can show it for you? Obviously, we're gonna be able to create then the CAM groups. The CAM groups is we can specify a few different CAM groups. So, like I mentioned to you about the manufacturing group, and also this will be related. So, to these CAM groups, we're gonna be able to assign the manufacturing group. Likewise, that addition group, which I just shown you a minute ago. So the system will kind of realize what sort of tactic it's supposed to be triggered for the particular part. Okay? So that is that. And then once I just shown you that, now I'm just going to minimize that and I will go to the AutoCAD. I did take a chance to prepare the quick drawing with the 4 cabinet drawings. So each one of them, they are assigned with the position numbers, as I believe you already know what the position number is. So each one of them, they are assigned with the position number. So this is position number 1, this is position number 2, number 3, number 3, and number 4. Okay, so I have assigned all the drillings and everything needed to show for you on the CAM interface. So obviously, once we have finished the design on the CAD+T and we are sure that we have applied all the cons necessary, all the machines necessary to do on that particular design, and you are sure that no other changes will be required, then you will be safe to generate a PL3 data. So to generate PL3 data is here we've got the icon called NC data. Obviously, we're going to select the parts, which part we would like to select. Obviously, I would like to select all the parts. Obviously, it will generate the parts, not the fittings list. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Obviously, the processor, you're going to choose a CAD+T CAM interface. And here you've got a path where you are able to where you're going to save this file. So obviously that path can be changed as per the user needs. So it's not fixed path. Today you can choose that path, tomorrow you can choose the other path. Obviously it's not ideal, but there is a way. But I think if you're gonna start to store projects at the same folder, that will be more sufficient. Once you're happy with it, you just press yes to generate. And the system has created a PL3 file. Now, if I come back to the CAM interface, I will go to the main window. Obviously, you're going to be able to change the languages. If you are different language speaking, you can kind of choose. I will stay on the English language. And now I'm going to open the CAD+T file. So obviously you have to go to the path where you have saved that PL3 before, and there you're gonna be able to see a PL3 file. Okay, this is the CAD+T CAM, or maybe I just will show it this one and I will open the another one. So this is a PL3 file, and here we've got all the files in here. So as you can see here, we've got the position number 102, back panel 103, 104, 105, 106, 107. These parts, which you can see a duplicate number, you don't really have to have them selected both. That gives you a information about that part is identical, and you can easily deselect that one. Okay, for example, also for this one, any other duplicated one. As you can see here, we've got the draw bottom, so I can kind of deselect two of them. Any more? Probably yes. This one, draw bottom. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, one I'm gonna leave. Same the shelf. And that's how we can kind of select. Now, coming back to the first part, obviously, I'm just gonna try to move this. Here, you are able to specify how would you like to see the particular part displayed on the screen. So you can choose that you can kind of heading from the front edge, from the back edge, from the left edge, from the right edge, isometric view, the other isometric view, and the others. My favorite one is that one. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And here we're gonna have the lists of the machining. So basically routing operation, here we can see that there is a part contour involved and there is a groove machining involved too. When it comes down to the edge banding, as you can see, we haven't got any edge banding applied, but if we're gonna have the edge banding in here, we're gonna have the edgings, for example, here. Obviously, this information will come from the CAD+T, so you're not gonna have to do it because that information will be transferred once you will apply the edging on the drawing board. And here we're gonna be able to preset what sort of function will be the best for you, and you're not gonna have to change that very often, or you're gonna have to change that very rare. Okay, so that's that. For example, manufacture out a border or in a border. So that all these things you can kind of decide. The edge profiles, I will come back to it, to the edge profiles. So that is that. And obviously also we've got an information regarding the drillings. So as you can see, all the kind of drillings are all got the T in the bracket. That means all the drillings are on top. Okay, this is the information that these drillings goes through. Okay, these drillings goes blind. Okay, so to the certain depth. So that is that. Now, for example, if I will try to go, for example, here we've got a drillings at the top, at the front, which is the pilot holes from the back, at the right edge, at the left edge. That's it. Some other ones. For example, this one, we can see all these things. You can also, when you're gonna see this kind of thing, and maybe you're gonna have a problem that your part is too narrow for your pod and rail machine, for example. Then you are able to flip it. You are able to flip it more. Okay, so all these things we are able to do. What else I can show it for you? I'm just trying to find something. This one. That one we can change also. Routing operation. As you can see here, we've got the pocket information. The pocket information, you are also able to change a little bit of tactic in the pocket, because usually it will go from the manufacturing group. And for the pocketing, sometimes you are deciding that to use the clear area to be routed in, but your groove is such a narrow, and you are confident that the final kata will do the work and the roughing kata won't be such a necessary. Then you can deselect the clear area. Then the system will ignore the clear area from the pocketing manufacturing group, only will trigger the final contour. Okay, so that is that. Obviously, if you would like to choose, you are able to choose convert that to the pocket or straight groove as you want. But I think for the beginners, try to keep this on automatic, because the automatic is more than good enough, because all the manufacturing group will be activated. Okay, so that's that. Let me just move it. What else I can show it for you? As you can see, all these parts got all the informations regarding the machinings, which is that what we want. Rotate. There is some drillings from both sides. There is no drillings from the both sides. It's shame, but I think it's okay. Like that. Like that. Here, obviously, you can kind of change something that, because on the instance of if you go to the workspaces, here you can change the automatic rotation. So you can specify the factor width and length, so the system will automatically rotate that for you. Test it out, see how it goes. It can work, but sometimes it can work also something against. So please test it out and see how it goes on your end, okay? But this is also another way how to rotate the panel without pressing any of that button. Okay, so I think we are okay. Yeah, so basically we've got all the files, all the parts listed in here. Now, if we are happy with all these files and we are good, obviously, sorry, but obviously here we've got, I didn't mention that, but basically here is that CAM group, which we have specified in here, which is here. So MDF solid chip. And here we've got here. Okay. So once you will select, if I will select the solid, then it will work the manufacturing group with the combination of the manufacturing 2 and addition group 030. If I will choose MDF, it will be like that. You see, it's everything is linked together. This is an information. For example, if you're gonna design the parts with the laminating on top or bottom sides or both sides, you're gonna get the informations in here that there is some kind of veneers stroke laminate or some different materials pressed on. And here we've got the information about the sizes of the part that will be transferred probably to it. But obviously, it's basically here you've got the kind of manufacturing group, and here we're gonna have the detail of which particular material is involved. So that is that. This is the part number. As you can see, it's the same like we've got in here. This is the part name, object handle, and the original article. This is the key code from the CAD+T material database. So that is that. Now, if you are happy with all this configuration, we're just gonna go and create an project name, which is, for example, webinar. And here we're gonna type the name of the project. So wardrobe, cabinet, kitchen, or some other kind of things. So let me just type it, kitchen web. Once you're happy with it, maybe let me just try to avoid the space in between, try to replace with the underscore instead. Okay. Now, once we have filled this windows up, then we are able to generate a post processor. Some of you could have the different options. Some of you could have the multi activated. It's for the multiple post processors, but when you've got only one CNC machine, the single is enough. Okay, so once you click on it, the system will generate all the files ticked on in here. So if I will go to the folder, as you can see, we've got all these files in here generated in few seconds. And these files are ready to go on the CNC machine. Okay? So if you haven't got any questions, have a nice day ahead and keep in touch. If you're gonna have some questions or some problems on your system, just send an email to the support. We are very welcome to help you, to support you anytime. Obviously, finger crossed to not to have any problems, but if you do experience some problems, just let us know. Okay?